This evening, President Ali stated that the government will continue to support the police force's efforts to build its relationship with the Guyanese people. An additional 800 Guyanese are getting closer to becoming homeowners. GECOM opens the registration process to the unvaccinated ages 14 to 17. In the region, GABRIEL BORIC to be sworn in as Chile's new president, and internationally, Russian air raids, reports of civilian areas hit in DNIPRO. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. During the opening of the annual Police Officers Conference at the Arthur Chung Convention Center on Thursday, President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali said the concept of one Guyana depends heavily on a country that is secure and stable, and with the persons who believe that those who are entrusted with their security are professional. President Ali stated that effective law enforcement requires collaboration between the police and the general public. While commending the process made thus far in this regard, the head of state said his government would continue to support the efforts of the Guyana Police Force in strengthening its relationship with the public.
I want to congratulate the work of the Guyana Police Force in communities. Some communities described as at-risk communities. Very proactive and targeted work. And I want to assure the Guyana Police Force that the government will back them with livelihood options and will back them with the necessary tools to give these communities an alternative and help them to be incorporated into the mainstream economy.
President Ali noted last year, a high percentage of the police actions were based on intelligence gathering. This proved to be fruitful. However, he noted that there still is more work to be done.
I anticipate that this year we will see a more concerted and focused effort to develop a medium to long-term strategy aimed at improving the image of the force. I look forward to interventions to boost public confidence in the work of the Guyana Police Force. The police must improve its relations with the communities and citizens. The public is also obligated to support the work of the force. If there is mistrust in these relations, public order will be under threat because the police will be unable to elicit the degree of support it needs to effectively execute its lawful mandate.
The president also stated that the government will make the necessary investments to upgrade the force's assets. While the government will offer the best environment possible with modern police stations and vehicles, he stressed that officers' attitudes must not hamper effective policing. He said the government also wants to see the professional development of ranks. Dr. Ali further stated that he had asked Minister of Home Affairs Rubison Ben to develop an incentive-based performance system for the Guyana Police Force. He said the men and women in uniform could also look forward to the realignment of their pay scales, which he deems as an important issue. The president called on the Guyana Police Force to adopt smart policing in its crime-fighting efforts, as he said the systems being utilized are outdated. The president went on to say the new dimension of policing requires eyes on you, which means more monitoring and intelligence gathering. According to Dr. Ali, the force will have no choice but to step up its effort in terms of crime fighting. According to Dr. Ali, the force will have no choice but to step up its efforts in the terms of crime fighting, since the government would be investing in the force's technical advancement. He mentioned that $2.5 billion had been set aside to expand the Safe City initiative beyond the parameters of Georgetown. The Policing Conference, which concludes on March 12, is being held under the theme Promoting Improvement of Public Trust and Confidence, Maintaining Safety and Security Through Competence, Professionalism and Partnership. The Guyana Elections Commission, which is now conducting voter registration across the country, has opened the process to unvaccinated teenagers between the ages of 14 and 17 who want to obtain their national identification card. The Guyana Elections Commission, in a statement, said it is cognizant that national registration of all eligible persons is a legal requirement, as it is a constitutional obligation for it to register such persons. Notwithstanding the foregoing, and in recognition of the fact that many persons in the 14 to 17 years old age range might not have been able eligible to be vaccinated for want of being in possession of a national identification card because they were never registered, a decision was taken to waiver the vaccination requirement for this age group. However, persons within this age range visiting the GECOM registration office to apply for registration must adhere to the routine COVID-19 preventative measures, for example, correct wearing of masks, sanitizing, and practicing social distancing, with specific reference to the provision that requires persons 18 years and older must be fully vaccinated in order to visit any GECOM registration office to conduct registration transactions. Stick around after the break. An additional 800 Guyanese are getting closer to becoming homeowners, and the public is encouraged to visit the GPHC eye clinic for free eye screening as the world observes Glaucoma Week 2022.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries, and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Welcome back. An additional 800 Guyanese are now closer to home ownership as the Ministry of Housing and Water hosted its first Dream Realized house lot allocation for 2022 at the Providence National Stadium earlier today. The event was headed by Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crone and Minister within the Ministry Susan Rodriguez. The moderate, middle, and high-income house lots were allocated in the Grove Diamond Block 1 housing development to citizens who have been waiting for years. Glaucoma is a group of eye conditions where the optic nerve becomes damaged, resulting in sight loss. It's one of the most common causes of blindness worldwide. This week, as the world observes Glaucoma Week 2022, members of the public are being encouraged to visit the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation's eye clinic to receive free eye screening to enable the early detection of glaucoma.
Glaucoma is basically a group of disease that damage the optic nerve. Now, the optic nerve is like a super pathway that connects the eye to the brain. So with glaucoma, the optic nerve, this pathway is usually damaged, it's impaired, and it often leads to permanent vision loss.
Optometrist attached to the GPHC, Maritza Prasad, said Guyana is most prevalent to open-angle glaucoma, which cannot be recognized in its early stage without testing.
There are a lot of persons with glaucoma in Guyana. So, for instance, if you're noticing you're seeing blurry, your peripheral vision is distorted, you have intense eye pain, you're very much light sensitive, bright lights cause trouble to you, please come out and get tested.
While there is no known cure for glaucoma, treatment is available with early detection.
The good news is that glaucoma is very treatable. The earlier it's detected, the better. This way, the eye physician or the ophthalmologist can design a treatment plan that is best suited for the underlying cause of the glaucoma. Treatment may include daily eye drops, surgical treatment, or sometimes laser. That is why the earlier the better. Prevention is better than cure.
Consultant ophthalmologist at the GPHC, Dr. Sugrim, highlighted the importance of regular screening for glaucoma as it is a silent disease.
Patients are out there with glaucoma without having this knowledge. The only way you can pick it up is when you do regular testing. And we usually advocate for patients who are at high risk to come and have their eyes tested. High-risk patients include patients who have relatives with glaucoma, patients who are elderly, patients of African descent, and patients who, during a routine test for spectacles at their optometrist, they have high eye pressure. So those patients should come regularly for checks. And we join the worldwide community in raising glaucoma awareness because it's a blinding disease. Patients can have permanent blindness if the disease progresses to the advanced stage. So the earlier you pick up the disease or the earlier detect the disease, it's better to save your vision. So that's the main call for glaucoma awareness, to have patients come for regular checks, have their eyes checked regularly, and prevent glaucomas.
If you would like to get tested for glaucoma, you can visit the eye clinic at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation. Don't go away after the break. U.S. fuel prices, cost of oil and gas up amid Russia sanctions, and Russian air raids, reports of civilian areas hit in DNIPRO. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at CHILE'S, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. CHILE'S Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries, and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Today, Chile's President-elect Gabriel Boric was sworn in, making him the country's youngest leader. He is setting more precedents as he comes to power. Al Jazeera's Lucia Norman reports.
Gabriel Boric is no ordinary president. At just barely 36, the world's second youngest head of state represents the start of an era in Chilean politics led by a new young generation with dreams of social equality.
We advance towards a more inclusive, generous Chile with no one left behind, or we will continue with the logic of privilege against which Chile has risen up.
Boric came to the forefront a decade ago as a student leader who helped forge a massive revolt for better public education. Then he gave up university to become a congressman for a new left-wing coalition, ignoring critics of his informal attire. From a very young age, he showed leadership qualities. At age 9, he wrote, "I was a bad class president in first grade because then I didn't know what it meant to be president. But now I'm prepared, and I promise you I'll be a good president. And please don't vote for me just because I'm your friend." Boric comes from Punta Arenas, overlooking the Magellan Strait on the tip of South America, where people say that gale force winds and the bitter cold help forge their strong character. The Boric family comes from a long line of Croatian migrants that settled here. Gabriel Boric's parents allowed us into their middle-class home to talk about their son. They say he was always interested in politics, but that not even he imagined he'd be elected president just 8 months ago.
If he was chosen at such a young age, it's because it was in his cards. He was born with a mission, a very good one, but a mission that I would not have wished for him, obviously.
But his father is less daunted by the weight of his son's responsibility.
The road is full of obstacles, and we hope that the education and the environment that we gave him will help him overcome those obstacles.
In recent years, Boric has matured from what many saw as a left-wing radical to what in Scandinavia or France would be considered a progressive, more concerned about forging consensus than confrontation. Boric brings to the presidential palace behind me the energy and idealism of youth. Yet, if nothing else, he has become very aware that making dreams come true will not be nearly as easy as it was to make promises when he was in the opposition. Writer Patricio Fernandez knows Boric well.
He incarnates an era of transformations, of a new world order that is emerging, even though he leads a generation that takes office without experience in government.
Boric is already marking his style by moving into an edgy neighborhood where he can still buy his favorite sandwich and bread while talking to the neighbors, a ritual that will be useful to keep him in touch with the temperature on the street. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Santiago.
In North America, the economic impact of sanctions against Russia is being felt at petrol pumps in the US. Fuel prices there are soaring. President Joe Biden says Moscow is to be blamed, but Republicans blame him for letting the conflict in Ukraine affect Americans. Al Jazeera's Rob Reynolds reports.
This group of Pennsylvania college students flew to Los Angeles for their spring holiday. But the soaring price of fuel has put a crimp in their plans for fun in the California sun.
Well, after we landed from the airport and I saw the gas prices, I was like,
Fuel has been expensive for months due to a pandemic-induced shortfall in supply. But Russia's attack on Ukraine spooked markets and turbocharged prices.
The oil market reacts much like the stock market, and unfortunately, drivers are paying for that at the gas pump.
High-priced fuel makes the price of everything transported by road, sea, and air more expensive, driving up inflation even further.
The average price of gasoline in the U.S. is hovering at about $4 a gallon. That's 3.7 liters. California is the state with the highest gasoline prices, $5.31 on average, but in some places, like here in Beverly Hills, it costs a lot more than that.
The U.S. and other governments are trying to cushion the blow by releasing fuel from strategic reserves.
We don't know how long this is going to last, but we are very focused on right now alleviating pain at the pump to the extent we can.
Prices will likely remain high for the foreseeable future. The U.S. Energy Information Agency says oil will stay above $100 a barrel for the rest of the year.
At $4 a gallon, is that a point where people can't take it anymore? It still remains to be seen, but inevitably we think we might see some behavioral change.
Belt tightening is already one of Brittany Anderson's plans.
It's definitely going to factor in how I am budgeting for my rent and my groceries, paying off my debts. I was not anticipating this big of a hit.
A hit to Americans' pocketbooks from a war half a world away. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Los Angeles.
And internationally, Russian forces have hit several cities in Ukraine, including DNIPRO, in air raids. Emergency services in the east-central city said at least one person was killed in the attacks that reportedly hit a kindergarten, residential building, and shoe factory. Al Jazeera's Natasha Gomian reports.
Ukrainians living in the central city of Dnipro woke up to the booms and fireballs of 3 airstrikes on Friday. Then this scene. Charred buildings, cars, even the trees blackened fragments. Emergency officials say one person was killed, and the airstrikes hit near a kindergarten and an apartment building. Targeting civilian areas is a violation of the Geneva Convention. Russia has warned it will surround Dnipro, home to about 1 million people before the invasion. In Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, there were reports of shelling from the skies and the streets. On the diplomatic front, the United States, with the G7 nations and the European Union, are preparing to revoke Russia's most favored nation status for trade. Russia planned to ask the UN Security Council to discuss its allegations that Ukraine is developing biological weapons. Earlier in the week, Russia accused the Ukrainian military of using phosphorus. It's illegal if used against civilians. In the suburbs of the capital, Kyiv, the toll of several days of fighting was coming into focus.
The people just went home and a rocket hit them, so you can see what happened here.
The Russians are demoralized, unmotivated, and splitting into small groups. Except harming civilians, raping, and looting, nothing is happening.
Even though their homes have been reduced to rubble, some are choosing to remain. A man in the town of Buka says, despite the loss and the shock, they're no longer afraid. Natasha Ganem, Al Jazeera.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. That is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. Tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.